We're already past the point of you telling everyone that you're using AI or it's part of your strategy. There's got to always be a human touch on the SMB side of things. They want human touch. Yes, they want tech to help them be more efficient, but they want the human touch. They want to pick up the phone and say, hey, something's wrong and I need you to fix it.
Hello and welcome back to the Interior Public Podcast. This is a show where we pull back the curtain on leadership and explore how public narrative drives executive authority today. I'm your host, Mary Diaz, and I'm joined today by Luke Wilson, who is the CEO of Signpost. And Luke, thank you so much for being here.
Super excited to be here, number one. Number two, I'm in very hot Austin, Texas. So that's the start to my day. It was hot when I woke up and it's hot still, which is great. But really passionate in most of my world. I've been very fortunate for the last 20 years to revolve around the SMB space. I think it is a very underserved space, and it also is a space that doesn't embrace technology so readily. We think we do, but we don't. And so we need to make it easy to adopt technology, and we're dead into the thick of that. So every single one of my days is very much focused on how in the heck do we solve the basic concern of communication in an omni-channel world. All of us have cell phones and email and everything going off. You've got social media, you've got website links that come in, SMBs struggle regardless of what their business is with the exact same forms of communication. That's what I'm heavily involved in and loving every minute of, especially for about the last 18 to 24 months.
Can you tell us a little bit about the Bias Towards Action platform as well?
Yeah. I've actually, so it started out very slow. And I think I had mentioned to you earlier, it was very much a Jerry Maguire moment because I woke up one night and I'm like, what is missing from life? Life is just action. Like, God dang, get 80% of the way there, decide, move, iterate, let's go. And what I found over the last couple of years is I get a lot of engagement with fellow CEOs. There is a world, we always focus on the founder-led CEO, right? They're out there, they're in all the news articles. There is a conglomerate of CEOs who have come up the more traditional route, and now they're having to scale businesses that are functioning very much like a startup, and they have no clue how to function in a startup. They have no clue how to have that bias towards action and be able to run at 80% confidence versus 100% on a leaner team with less resources. And in our current capital markets, if you're not involved in AI, there's no money anywhere else, right? And even if you are involved in AI, if it's not in a niche, there's probably no money anywhere else. So a lot of what I spend my time in that venture doing is just having calls with guys and talking through problems, challenges, and concerns. And it almost always comes down to paralysis by analysis, or it comes down to a lack of accountability, and you're not biased towards action. You're not taking the action. You're not setting the right targets, holding everybody accountable and saying, this is the line in the sand, move forward.
How do you feel like that is, like the AI frame is it putting more pressure on that like mantra of bias towards action?
I think it should be, right? Like I absolutely think it should be. I don't think it is, because I think a lot of CEOs are very busy writing white papers and putting out press releases that they're involving AI in their product strategy. And I actually think when you do that, you're behind, because AI should be behind the scenes. Everybody expects AI to be handling pieces, right? They just expect that it's automated in some sort. We're already past the point of you telling everyone that you're using AI or it's part of your strategy. It really needs to be, and I think you're going to see this evolve, honestly. I think there's a genesis here where you're talking about how you are allowing technology to enable service to your customer, whether you're an enterprise or you are I think Salesforce does a great job with it, which they do a great job with everything, right? They talk about like the benefit, like the Matthew McConaughey and the Woody Harrelson commercial, where it just knows Woody's schedule and it should know Matthew's because it should be smart enough to know it, right? That I think is what we should be biased towards action on, is saying, okay, how do we make the decision for our customers? I focus on the SMB space. Those folks get confused, or get not confused. Confused is a bad word to use. Get fearful when I explain how technology is going to solve it. But if I just solve it and they never have to worry about what's doing it, then we're in the right, now we're in the playing field, right? So I think, yes, the bias towards action should be towards solving consumer problems with tech-enabled solutions.
Tell me just a little bit about how Signpost does that. What are the problems that it's solving, and who are your clients?
Yeah. So we feel, I've had this pain point. I'll kind of go 360 on this circle to answer it. It's not a simple answer in my mind, but I make things complex anyway. So I have always felt that what happens in the VC and private equity world, I've been a part of some amazing founder-led organizations that really solved problems. We get a $200 million round of fundraising, and the first question a VC or private equity board asks is, How do we go up market? How do we make this thing bigger? How do we get $1 billion when we sell this thing? And unfortunately, the true answer is leave the customer that got you there. That is the true answer. Stop serving the customer that got you there and start serving a different customer. And we've seen it in our space. So I would say we focus very much on a customer who is under 10 million in revenue, a person who might be an owner operator, maybe has 2 to 3 trucks that are out working, 5 to 10 employees. It is really the core of small to medium business in the home service world, right? The home service world, that could be a franchise owner. So they might look like a bigger company, but they're not a bigger company underneath. They're just part of a franchise. So they don't have the resources that a bigger company would have. And so we focus on that and where we learned the pain points were. And we started out as a live receptionist tool, so where we would just answer the phones for those folks so they can go serve their customer. But what happened was all the customer communication isn't just coming in on the phones. You have Angie leads that come in via the Angie app. You have Thumbtack leads that come in via the Thumbtack app. You have email requests that come in. You have website leads that come in. And these folks we're focused on home service. One of the things I try to do is just pick a lane, stay in it, focus on it so you can really serve it well. In home services, if you think about it, just take roofing, plumbing, HVAC, and electrical. Those people are doing the work, not sitting on their cell phone answering all these different communications. And what you and I as consumers are doing, the minute they don't answer that Angie lead, we go to another provider, right? Because I'll tell you this, if my air conditioning is out in sunny, beautiful, great Republic of Texas, I am calling 15 people until someone comes and fixes my air conditioning, period. I'm not going to sit there and sweat all day to just go with my favorite guy. It's not going to happen.
Totally.
And our customers understand that. And so what we started out was doing the live receptionist piece. And then we realized, this was how bad it used to be. We would just send them an email at the end of the day with all the numbers of the calls that we answered for them, right? No information, no anything.
Wow.
And what we've done, we've built integrations with Angie and Thumbtack. We've built integrations with their website, with pieces to funnel everything into our software platform, which we call our messaging hub. They have one location to go see the communications. It could be our live receptionist. Now it could actually be our AI receptionist, right? It could be, we're actually finally getting to a point where AI is starting to handle some of the scheduling for us. AI is starting to handle some of the if then next kind of pieces. And it's making it to where our customers don't have to think about communicating. They're able to just handle their business and know that their customers are taken care of. We always tell them, they're like, we don't sell leads. We're not a CRM. We're not a marketing platform. We are solely communication. That is all we do. But everything in communications impacts all those other pieces.
Right.
When you pay for leads, your conversion rate is way at the bottom and their leads are too expensive. It's because you're not answering the phone or you're not sending a text message or you're not. Like, we empower all those pieces to make every other tool that you use more valuable and more profitable in your business. That's the end of the day. We want them all to be more profitable and to grow and kind of continue to support the U.S. economy. It is not marketing. And we will, you have led to about 4 to 6 weeks, there's going to be a product offering from us. Well, we will handle outbound communication, not outbound marketing. But if a lead comes in and someone says, hey, I need somebody to call me, we have the resources to be able to call, whether it's live receptionist or it is AI that will reach out and say, hey, you wanted a call. What do you want help with? Do you need a copy of your bill? Do you need help us communicate to where then our service providers, they can just stay working. They can just look, taking care of what makes them great, rocking it for their customers, and we'll continue to rock it for them.
What's going really well right now with Signpost?
Depends on the day, because it's very challenging to serve the SMB space. I'll tell you, because I'll give you a simple thing. We probably service 1,000 different CRMs, and some of our customers still keep all their customers in Google Sheets, right? And then some of them are using high tech platforms like ServiceTitan. So it's just a broad range. Well, every day there's a workflow that needs to be created. Every day there's something that we've missed. Every day there's somewhere that we need to get better. I would say what's going really well for us is we have really dialed in the customer communication on the retention side. So we realized that our customers have challenges. We realized that we proactively have to nudge and bump them and educate them, train them, be a true trusted advisor. Probably what I'm most proud of is on our sales process, just the same. We're a little unique in the sales process side because I am very passionate about being a trusted advisor. I grew up in the high velocity outbound sales world. SMBs, you've got to make a lot of dials. I get it. It happens, but you still need to remember you're trying to be the trusted advisor and you need to show empathy for the customers. And so our sales world is a little different. We are more focused on product-led growth. than sales-led growth because we do realize that our customer needs to have more options and better ways to serve them, and that's how we'll ultimately end up being more valuable to them. So what's working for us is keeping that customer-centric view all across the board, whether it's how we sell, how we retain them, it's in our product side of things, even in engineering and how we plan out sprints. We look at, okay, what's the biggest impact on the customer? And I think our VP of product or go to market, she is just maniacally focused on customer interviews, just nonstop. I want to know, how I was actually on a call earlier where we were talking to someone about our AI receptionist and how it's working for them. What are their frustrations? What can we do better? And she does a lot of that. So I would say that's what's working really well, is that it's really keeping us grounded to the customer and we're able to iterate very quickly. I actually think it's what's wrong with the way most of us look at how we're scaling businesses. That's why you'll hear me use the phrase tech-enabled human service, right? Like there's always going to be a human element. Most people, and especially in my space, I am not an enterprise leader. I do not sell to enterprises. Like I never would speak on that market, but I do know the SMB space very well. I'm a third generation SMB business owner. I also have served in this SMB space since the days at Angie's List. And I've been groomed by a lot of great founders who are like, look, there's got to always be a human touch on the SMB side of things. They want human touch. Yes, they want tech to help them be more efficient, but they want the human touch. They want to pick up the phone and say, hey, something's wrong and I need you to fix it.
What's the biggest challenge right now? If you could wave your magic wand and fix something in your business right now, what would it be?
So I would say adoption, right? Like all of our customers have the pain. They're so busy. It's hard for us to have a very meaningful, long-term hand-holding relationship in the first 90 days. So most of our customer success efforts are focused in the first 90 days because we believe if we help you develop those trusted habits, that then we can truly be of value to you. But if you don't utilize us, then you're paying for something that's not of value. And we don't want that. We don't want you paying us just to sit there on the sidelines. We want to be in the game playing, right? And so I would say the largest challenge is, one, how do we break through the noise in the market? Because there's a ton of contact centers. There's a ton of AI receptionists. There's a ton of different things. Not anybody, when I look around, no one does what we do in conglomerate. But I'm just going to tell you, if you're the average SMB business owner right now, you're getting 35 to 50 sales calls a day, right? Like breaking through that noise, I'm telling you, if I was still in our retail business as a family, I would never answer the phone. I don't want to talk to everybody. I cannot tell you how many times I was approached saying they were going to reinvent the way we did the business and make us $1 million, right? Everybody was going to, and that was 25 years ago.
Right.
So I couldn't imagine today just how overwhelming it is for an SMB business owner. And I don't care if you're a large franchise owner, a small person, it's got to be overwhelming where you don't even want to communicate with the outside world. I would say that's our deal. And we get better at it every day of finding out where they're at and how our messaging resonates with them. But it's absolutely an uphill battle.
Where are your customers? Where are you finding your clients?
You really find that in the SMB space with the market I target, right? So I'm very careful to say, because there's a million different ways to go target your specific market. And who we're looking for, they're really consumers. They're not business owners. So when they think, they're on social and they want to see you on social. They value your YouTube channel. They value your webinars. They really buy like a consumer. So if you go into it thinking that it's a B2B sale, it's not going to work. It's very much a B2C sale. And there has to be a relationship. What I've learned the most is, so we are a completely outbound self-sourcing cold call sales team. And if they call up and say, by the way, are you missing calls? Every business owner is going to say no. It's the same thing. We were in the automobile business. At 6:00 on Friday night, someone would come on the lot with their family. I would say, want me to help you look at anything? And they go, no, we don't need anything. And you're like, why the heck are you on a car lot at 6:00 on a Friday night? You're like, not everybody doesn't need something, right? But that's just, or you go into Best Buy and somebody comes up and goes, can I help you? No, I'm good. And then you wander around trying to look for something, right? So I think it's the consumer thing. It's a consumer mindset.
Okay.
We have gotten a lot of success and a lot more traction by being a trusted advisor. Let's have a friendship call. Let me learn more about you. Right? Let's talk about what you're struggling with, because I've also learned you got to swallow your own pride and ego. You think you've figured some things out and you really have not, because every single business owner, they do struggle with the same challenges, but they view it differently. They would tell you that it's different than the person next door. I'm not like you. And from a 30,000 foot view, you actually are just like that person. But in their mind, that's not how they see it. And you got to get there. You got to figure it out. And we've had a lot of success on social. We've had a lot of success with, webinars and just trying to say, look, we're not preaching at you. We really do have something valuable. We just like to teach you, even if you don't want to be on board with us or pay for our services or et cetera. The bigger thing we're trying to do is empower you as a business owner to have better communication.
What's your marketing department like?
I wish I could tell you my team, and when I would say this, and my team is going to watch this, and they're going to go, it's like two people. Like, this is not, what do you mean my team? We are very selective. I was actually told this by a mentor of mine when I took this role. He said there's going to be a lot of things on fire, and you're going to have to learn what things you're going to just allow to burn, right? Some things are just going to burn. They're things that you just cannot put out. So we've had to be very selective. We've focused on partnerships that can amplify our voice. So we've been able to really gain some solid partnerships with folks like Angie or folks like Thumbtack, who right now, they've got friction in the market because the end user hates them because they feel like they're being charged way too much for a lead. And then your Angie, Thumbtack, Google, all these places that sell leads, they're like, look, it's a lead. You got to handle the lead correctly. Call them. You got to be a salesperson, right? So there's that friction there where we fit very nicely into the friction because we understand both sides of it. And we can look, we'll help you. We'll help you make sure that 100% of your calls are answered the right ways. And then we'll help you hold them accountable that these are good, reliable leads, right? Like it's a two-way service. So our marketing team of now three. We have three. We have product marketing, growth marketing, and then our leader who heads up all go to market. She does a lot of the work, which I don't even understand how she keeps. I have no clue how she stays sane. But we try to focus in on what is most meaningful. Where are we going to get the biggest bang for our buck? And when you're saying like what's working, the traction as we have grown and been able to hire additional resources, you just start to see it start to amplify up. You start to see, because before it was our head of go-to-market and myself, and we were rolling, right? There was nobody else. It was just us. And then now you just hire one resource in product marketing. You're like, holy crap, this guy's fixing our FAQs. He's putting out better, product statements. And okay, this is awesome. Then you hire a growth marketer and you're like, okay, this is awesome. Now we're actually driving some inbound interest. This is great. So we're very much building it one step at a time. But I would say I am a huge fan of partnerships. I think more people should partner together because we're all touching the same consumers and we really have a responsibility to all of them, right? To really give them the full effect of what we can each do. And we've had a lot of success with that. And also our partnerships inside of the franchise world. Our marketing team focuses very, very heavily on the franchise world because we identified a pain with the franchisees that a lot of them are not business owners. They do not know how to run a business and they need help on the communication side of things, but they're great tradespeople, right? They're great craftsmen. So then, they can go handle that. We handle the rest of those pieces, and then we'll continue to evolve of how much we can help them take care of their back office and everything else.
Where do you see yourselves within the next year?
If I look at a daydream, which I'm very good at daydreaming, as I look ahead, there is so much to address just in communication, right? We will never sell websites. We will never sell leads. We will never sell, we feel like that's where people really go wrong as they start, okay, let's do a reviews product. Which all those things are great. But if you don't have 100% focus on it, you're going to do all of those things at 60%. And then you really don't amplify the effort. Where we have chosen as a leadership team and a company to stay is, okay, there are a trillion different ways we can solve communication struggles. Our customers have a very hard time with outbound calling. If you think about, they have 20 years in business, 20 years worth of customers, they continue to pay for leads for new business because they never call the people from 20 years ago, right? Because that's not their skill set. They don't want to get on the phone. And we've had some of our customers really challenged with collecting receivables. They don't want to pick up the phone and call somebody and ask for a payment. We absolutely have teams that can do those things, right? So when you look ahead, I really think we start to solve a lot of the mundane pieces that to them seem very complex that we already have the process set up. And it all evolves around, communication. It all revolves around being the first one to text back, being the one that offers your customer an opportunity to get their bill, reschedule an appointment, do all these things without you having to pick up your cell phone and be able to talk to that. I would rather that. You're a busy professional, so am I. If I could reschedule without talking to a live human, I'm taking that route, right? If I can say, hey, look, I'm just trying to get a copy of my bill and AI can just send me a copy of my bill, I don't need to talk to anybody. That's great. I'm handled and it's a great experience for me. And so I see that us really redefining what good communication looks like
Mm.
And really then just allowing technology to serve it. I say this to our team all the time. It should not be the customer's stress over what options they choose from us to solve the problem. It should be their stress that like, hey, this is my problem. Will you guys just solve it? And then we
Mhm.
solve it for them, right? And that communication space, I think, is just huge. That everybody's frustrated. Everybody. It doesn't matter who I talk to. They're all frustrated with they don't have enough time in the day to call people back. They miss calls. They can't keep up. I had a gentleman tell me earlier in the week, he doesn't know where people came from, and it's making him look stupid because he had somebody come in on the website, social, through a lead thing and call him, and he couldn't connect the dots. And so
Mhm.
he was responding through all the different, trying to keep up. He screwed up his messages and gave some mixed signals, and then they said, I'm not going to use this guy. And it was all because like he has no way of aggregating it, which we solve for him. We aggregate it and he knows where everything's coming. He can read the conversations. So that's where I say there's such just communication, just in general. You don't even have to get fancy with it, right? You just
Right.
simple communication, help your customer to be able to understand, especially in the home service space, time's money and customers are counting on them to be there and be present. And not super simple to solve, but I'm going to try to get there. We're going to try to get there.
Tell me a little bit about your vision as a leader.
I'll tell you, this has been a journey in leadership. And it's been one that has been humbling because about every time I think I have it figured out, I get my legs kicked out from underneath me and I learn another critical missing component of my leadership skills, right? And so what I would say is my style has evolved. I used to be that person that people hated working for because my bar of accountability was high and the way we were doing it was my way, period. Get on the bus or get off the bus. This is how we're doing it. And I used to think that was the correct way to do it. That was how I was raised. I was raised by a Navy SEAL father who had no expectations. His favorite statement used to be, when I tell you to jump, get in the air and then I'll tell you how high. Like that was the
Wow.
statement always, right? That was the statement. And so I think as you learn in life, you get a little older, you get more white hairs in your growth, right? And you start to notice that may not necessarily be the right way to always lead. So I still have a very, very high bar of accountability. I try to provide everyone with the vision. Here's who we serve. This is where we're going. But I'm surrounded by a great team. I'm surrounded by people that I trust. And I look for three key things to help me be a better leader. I want coachable people. I want humble people. And at the same time, I want people that do not lead with ego, right? And ego is two different ways. Ego is the very cocky, arrogant person that everybody thinks is egotistical. But ego is also the person who is afraid to let people know what they don't know, right? So my culture is very much of get to 80%, screw it up, be in control of it, track your data, be the first one to raise your hand and say, I screwed this up and let's fix it. But no one in our organization is afraid of making a mistake. And no one in the organization is afraid of owning that mistake, right? And so at the end of the day, I think my leadership is we don't have it all figured out. I do not have it all figured out. I have a pretty good path in my head because of 25 years of knocking my head against drywall. So I have a pretty good path of where we need to go. But I value the great people that I have around me. And I've gotten much better at adding great teams around me that allow me to say, okay, look, what I love to do is have the vision. This particular person's really, really good at documenting the process. This particular person's really, really good at the sales side of it. Our VP of go-to-market is fundamentally the best person I've ever worked with at daydreaming a product into existence, right?
Awesome.
And I hold those people all accountable. They're all accountable, but I want them to do it their way. And I do get a little my team is good at pushing back on me where they'll be like, are we just trying to get to the end result or do you really want this done your way? And most of the times I will be like, I'm pretty good. There are some times where it has to be done my way. I know some things that maybe they don't know. I'm privy to things. And I'm like, look, we got to do it this way. And what I found is when you only do that once in a while, the team follows you, right? But you don't, when everybody's allowed to really own things and feel like they are the ones that get it done and you're there to support, remove roadblocks, then it's great. I was given that by another mentor of mine. He's like, when you become a CEO, your job is to remove roadblocks. It's not to go around giving out orders. Remove the roadblocks. Right. And I've tried to really hold true to that because I think it becomes exhausting to just run around and give out orders. And I think it's also very exhausting to your team just to run around and take orders. All of a sudden now you've recruited great, talented people, but you don't let them be talented because they've got to do what you tell them. So I would say I am very, very passionate about who we serve. If this job paid me a minimal income and there was never any path to success and it was just going to be a hard grind for the rest of my life, I would still do it because I am very, very passionate about serving the small to medium business space. I am especially passionate about serving the trades and home service. I think it's something that's been overlooked for probably the past 30 to 40 years. We're getting to where like your average tradesperson is mid 50s to early 60s. That's a huge problem for us in the United States. It's a massive problem, right? So I know that's not my leadership style. I'll go ramble on that, but I'm passionate about it. And so I try to get on my company's nerves as much as possible, sharing why I'm so passionate about what we do and who we serve. And I think when I'm looking at it and I look at what we do, it just trickles on down because then everybody gets it and they also are serving the same customer. One statement that I say all the time, and it took us some time to break through to like, hey, it's okay to make mistakes. Anytime a mistake, which is daily, we all make mistakes, and it comes and we've got to address it, we've got to solve it. I will consistently say, stop litigating the past. I do not litigate the past. I don't care about the past. I don't litigate it. I don't care who owned it, who was responsible for it. Now, there are cases where if someone has made the same mistake 5 times in a row, you have to litigate the past. Why does this continue to happen, right? But for 99% of the things you solve in your business, you waste 30-day cycle litigating the past and diving through data when you could have solved the move forward piece, made everything better. Everybody's back on track. You've got 30 days of progress moving forward instead of your team spending all these wasted cycles going over data that happened, all the pieces that happened before. People are going to roast me for that. I still believe in looking at the past. I still look at the data. I still look at everything that has happened. I follow trends into our future. But on a daily basis of that bias towards action, you got to stop litigating the past. You've got to stop it. You've got to just solve and move forward.
So tell us a little bit about where we can find you. If people want to reach out, if they have questions, if they want to learn more, what's the best way to get in touch with you?
I would say I'm exceptionally busy. My calendar is just jammed packed. So the best way is through email. It's lwilson@Signpost. That's the one I monitor the most. I do try to monitor LinkedIn. I will tell you, my inbox is full of spam and everybody trying to sell me something, so that you might get lost in the inbox. I have had people tag me in posts before, which is a really quick way for me to get to notice that, because I still do find some value in LinkedIn and reading through it. But I would say lwilson@signpost.com is the easiest way to send an email across. I answer that every single day, almost probably 18 hours a day.
Luke, thank you so much. This has been such a great conversation. I've learned a lot, and I'm sure the audience has as well. And just really appreciate the time you've taken with us today.
Likewise, I'm very grateful. Thank you very much for choosing me.
Yeah, take care. Bye-bye.